Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Your Average Logical Thinker. If you have been here before and you keep coming back every time my review pops up, just go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button, share if you will, but please, if you are a returning guest, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss one of my reviews, amongst other things that I talk about. So anyways, we start off the episode with Michelle going to confront Madison. And Madison has the audacity to say, "You're not going to come in here all guns ablazing like we can have a conversation." Listen. Madison, you are not in a position to make demands on how this is going to go. You are in the wrong. And then you got David in the background defending his boo. Every chance, interrupting, interfering, trying to help Madison out, trying to help Madison not look as bad. David, if you don't go somewhere, and I don't blame Michelle, she was like, "I'm out. I'm not doing this with y'all because this is ridiculous. Absolutely no remorse, no regret." And you got Michelle in the room talking to Camille and MM, and MM is all invested. MM, I think MM was cool with Michelle and very, really cool with Alan. So she feels really bad about the situation. But Camille could care less. Camille is just sitting on that bed, just catching the tea, like, and then, Camille eventually asked Michelle, "So what is it about this whole situation that bothers you the most?" Because I think Camille feels like, you didn't want him anyway. So why are you so pressed? Like, what is it about the situation that chaps your hide so bad? All the sympathy is for Alan, though. All the sympathy is for Alan. And I think it's because David painted such a bad picture of Michelle to the guys, and they shared these things with their wives. And even though the wives have their alone time and they've developed their own friendship with Michelle, they still know that Michelle is not the most pleasant person, that she hasn't treated Dave the best. So I think that it's hard to give her too much sympathy. Most of the sympathy from most of the couples are going towards Alan. And I think that's rightfully so. The next morning, Wancho is in the kitchen dropping gems to David. David's like, "I don't even know what to do with this. Like, what would you do?" But I guess he wanted to make Juan feel as if he was remorseful. So one of the ways was for him to ask, "What would you do if you were me?" But it wasn't just, it wasn't sincere. But Juan was dropping some real gems when Juan said, and as ridiculous as Juan looks this episode, he was dropping some major gems. And he said, "I think the biggest concern that you and Madison should have is whether you're going to be able to trust each other because of what you've done so far and how we've gotten here." And I said, you said it, Wancho. You said exactly what needed to be said. Can you trust each other after all of this? Carla and Camille sit down with Madison. Madison says, "Let me go ahead and clean myself up." You see, David still got on the same clothes he had on 24 hours ago, them crusty ass um, shorts, surfer shorts. He wearing that 24 hours later. But Madison cleans herself up, puts on some new face paint, and faces the music with the other girls so that she could paint her side of the story. And again, Camille just doesn't really have much to say. She's just kind of there. But Carla gave what was supposed to be gave. Carla did what was supposed to be done, and she held Madison accountable. And I am so here for it. I am so glad Carla said, "Look, what you did is grimy. Ooh, this whole situation is grimy, girl. And what you did affected the whole group, not just the spouses, but everybody here is going to be affected by this. Look, half of our people are already gone. And she said, "Because, where I am in my life right now, with the space that I am in right now, like, I'm not going to be able to hang out with somebody like you. I can't risk it. And Carla stood on business, and I appreciate her for that because it needed to be said. Most people would tiptoe around. Most people would, try to make that person not feel so bad for what they did. But Carla just came out and just said what needed to be saved and what needed to be said. And I appreciate Carla so much. That was probably the most realist thing that has been said so far. So, Carla, good on you. I'm glad that David didn't know that Michelle had left, because if so, him and Madison would have spent the night together. And that just would have been horrible and rude and just wrong and just very uncouth. And so I'm glad he did not know that, so that he didn't creep into Madison's room that night. Then we got Madison and not Madison, Michelle and Alan finally meet up, right? I believe they're at Alan's apartment. And they're sitting there comparing notes and, going back and rehashing on things and putting two and two together. And I said, this is what y'all should have been doing 2 to 3 to 4 weeks ago. Like, as soon as David said, oh, me and Madison in the gym. And as soon as Madison said, yeah, me and David, we were at the bar. Y'all should have already been on the phone. Y'all should have already been having sidebars talking about, what you think about your spouse hanging out with my spouse? What you think about? Have you known for them too? Y'all should have been comparing notes 2 to 3 to 4 weeks ago, and we could have avoided all of this. Because I tell you what, sometimes when there's suspicion around somebody almost about to cheat, sometimes that's enough to stop them from moving forward. Like, you know what, they already kind of suspicious. I have been flirting a little too heavy. Let me get back to you know what I'm saying. But Alan is a Alan's kind of cowardly. And I think even if Alan did know or had a suspicion, he wasn't gonna say nothing, because he thinks Madison is one of the most beautiful women he's ever had, and he doesn't want to ruin that. So Alan wasn't going to say nothing anyway. But I think if they had said something a lot sooner, we wouldn't be where we are today. Not saying that it wouldn't have happened or it wouldn't have went down eventually, but I think things would have went a lot differently, and I think Madison would have a lot more respect for Alan than what she does if he had actually manned up and checked her on her behavior as a wife. Alan tears up the book, the wedding photos, sets the wedding vows on fire, leaves it there, just dramatic, and he did that to hurt her, but honestly, it didn't. It was petty. I think you have a right to feel the way that you do. I think you have a right to be upset. My mom always told me, never ever let them see you sweat. And sometimes it's important to let your guards down and let people know that you've hurt them. But in this case, she already knows what she's done. There's nothing extra that you can do that will convince her that you are hurt. She knows what she has done. At this point, when it's all said and done and you said you have nothing else to say, that's what you do. You have nothing. You don't give her an ounce of anything to think that you care. You played it wrong, Alan. But that's just my opinion. David meets with his friend, and Madison meets with her sister or calls her sister. And at the end of the day, both of them don't feel bad. They making plans to move forward, and it is what it is. And neither person holds them accountable. They just say, okay, well, if that's what makes you happy, then go for it. And I'm just like, you guys have horrible people in your corner, and that's a shame. It's pretty sad. Now we've got Madison crying before they have to meet with the experts. She's rehashing on the fact that she reached out to Alan and he's not responding, or the way he responded. And, I just want you guys to know that if a person is ever in a position where they have to say, I am a good person, just know that they are not a good person. If you ever have to say and plead your case, I am a good person, you're not a good person. You're not a good person, Madison. So MM meets with the experts. And again, Why are we still asking Ikechi if he still wants to try? I don't know why, for the love of God, why are we still trying to convince this man to stay in a marriage that he hates? He tried to serve her a divorce paper last week. Why are we asking him if this is the end of the road? I know Ikechi is like, now y'all have got to be kidding me. I done said everything I can disrespectful to let y'all know I don't want to be here. MM said what she had to say, and she served him the riot act, and I was here for it. And Ikechi looked so uncomfortable. I loved it. It was cringe and it was wonderful and it was all of the things. And this man was sitting there like, y'all really gonna have me sitting here and have to endure this? Like, I really got to sit here and yes, yeah, yeah. Because you could have just played the game fair and just been a man about things and just went through the process and at the end say, I want a divorce. Or you could have long before, when you had the opportunity to bow out, say, yeah, I don't want to be married anymore. I want a divorce. But no, you kept lying and gaslighting and giving people reasons to think that you actually wanted to try and then you didn't want to try. So yeah, you gonna sit here and you gonna take this ass whooping that MM's giving you. And she served all the way down. That orange with the shit with the little shrills or the shit, whatever you call that. I don't know what you call it. I'm not a fashionista. But she be dressed down and I love it. She looks good. I want to give married at first sight experts, if you will, some advice when you guys are pairing up black men. I want to say something now. It's a little trigger warning. So when you are pairing a black man on these dating shows where they have to get married or anything like that, the black woman, if she's all black, 100% black, black mama, black daddy, she has to be perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean everything has to be asymmetrical. Her teeth have to be perfect. Her skin complexion has to be perfect. No blemishes, no pimples, nothing like that. She has to have a nice breast to ass ratio. Okay. No gut. And she has to look good according to society standards. She has to be a 10 when she's all black. She's got to be perfect. And last, and also, she cannot make more money than the man. If she makes more money than him, or she has any of those flaws, or any of those, or all together, it's not going to work. Then he's not going to be satisfied. So she has to be, she got to have ass, she got to have titties. She can't make more money than him, and everything about her has to be perfect according to society's standards. Okay. Then it will work. Other than that, put him with a mixed chick, put him with now she could be mixed, she could be white, she could be Haitian, not Haitian, she could be Asian, she could be Latino, she could be uh Indian, she could be anything but black with blemishes and she'll be fine. That will work. But if she's black, she has to be perfect. There can't be nothing. She can handle kids. She can't, don't even do it. Okay. This is just for the next time you pair a black man with a fully black woman. Got it? All right. So then we got Madison and David. Madison and David, they finally meet with the experts. And at this point, they are still lying. That has to be the most frustrating thing when you know something is a lie and a person can look you dead in your face and still lie to you. Most frustrating thing. And you can see all of them getting frustrated. Like, why are you still lying at this point? Like, the jig is up. You've already said you want to be together. It is what it is. Why are you still lying? Just come clean. The truth will set you free. It really does. When you can just get everything off your chest and just be over it, that's when healing really begins, honestly. Like, when you start to just take accountability for what you've done fully, that's when the healing begins. And it's so much easier to just move on and accept what you've done. That way you can repair it, you know? I love the fact that Pastor Cal gently reminded Madison that she wasn't even attracted to men of color. She specifically asked for a Caucasian man because that's what she's used to. That's what most of her relationships have been. And that's what she would like to marry. So Pastor Cal had to remind her, like, this is what you wanted. So for you to go from Alan to David, who is a person of color, how is this going to work? You know? And she said, well, I'm not necessarily opposed to, well, obviously we know you're not opposed to, but when it came to marriage, you specifically wanted a Caucasian man. So what is this? Pastor Cal had to remind and also let David know, listen, she is like Jeannie Mai. She likes her dark meat on the side. So this is not serious. So don't get it twisted, bruh. She's here for a good time, not for a long time. But they say they like each other, and he say he could see Madison being his wife. We gonna see. So next episode clips come on, and Madison and David walk in at an event with the rest of the couples, and there goes David and Michelle sitting there looking miserable. And Michelle is about that life. But guess what? Madison is too. Madison's like, do you really want some of this? And this is the thing, just like with Alan, Michelle can't whip Madison though. Madison is wrong, but Madison goes to the gym. Madison got arms. Madison got traps for days. Madison lifts. Madison can whoop your ass, Michelle. So even though Madison is wrong, and I know you angry, don't get your ass beat too.